Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for Libra, wherever Libra is in your chart. And as you can see, we have 3 decks out here. We're doing something a little bit different. We're doing like a recent past, current energy, and near future. But the first deck on the left is the before tarot. So it's like the moments before the traditional, depictions. So like what leads up to that event. And then we have the after tarot on the right side. And of course, that would be the moments preceding the events on your traditional Rider-Waite tarot. And then in the middle, we have the Radiant Wise tarot deck, which is based on the traditional Rider-Waite. So, like I said, we're kind of doing a recent past energy, current energy, and the near future. We're just going to get one card from each deck for Libra. And then, of course, we will look at the bottom of the deck later on. And as always, I don't take the cards that flip in the deck because I just don't take them seriously. We want commitment over here. So the cards do have to come out of the deck if there is a message. And I've had conversations one-on-one with each one of these tarot decks. So we're all on the same page. For Libra. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Current energy for Libra. I'm not going to take those two. We'll take this, the Knight of Cups in the reverse. And then near future for Libra. Queen of Wands in the reverse and the Star card in the reverse. Let me just kind of, well, that might just like amplify. We'll put a little shirt on the Star because YouTube, So I feel like Libra has been going through it for some time. Like I feel like Libra readings, and I don't remember. I like literally forget anything I say, like as soon as it comes out of my mouth. But I just kind of feel like there's usually like a heaviness or, honestly, I mean, that is like literally the feeling that I'm getting, and that has been going on for some time. And it just feels like, and I don't know if that is because Chiron has been in Aries for, I don't even know how long. But that would be opposing anything that you have in Libra. I'm not sure. Like, that's like literally the only thing that I can really kind of think of that over however many years has been like a constant energy. I know too that Pluto being in Capricorn If you have a Libra Pluto, so basically like if you're a millennial, then Pluto would have been squaring your natal Pluto and any natal Libra placements that you have. So that was going on for a while as well. Now that it's obviously out of Capricorn, there's some relief there. I know, like, I have a 27-degree Libra Pluto, and transiting Pluto was like tap dancing on that square it felt like for fucking ever. So I'm glad that is out of there. And I was also just looking, like, for me, because I have, like I just said, I have 27-degree Libra Pluto. I have a 29-degree Saturn in Libra. And Chiron is at 23 degrees. So it's like at some point it's approaching in opposition with my Pluto and Saturn. And Chiron is like, the wounded warrior, wounded healer. Deepest insecurities, core emotional wounds, and pain. So, like I said, and oppositions it's like tension. It's like tug of war, right? Push and pull. Yeah, tension between two energies. Forcing a person to find balance between them. Oppositions can manifest as internal conflict or as challenges that appear through relationships and external events. So, like I said, like, actually, since we're Googling shit, when did Chiron enter Aries? 2018. April 2018. So if you think back to then, when is it supposed to leave? I thought June 29th, 2026 is when it goes into Taurus, which I'm personally not looking forward to because I have Taurus Chiron. So I'll be having a Chiron return in the next however many years. I think that's in your 50s. My dryer just confirmed that. But how long? So 2018 to 2026, 8 years? Anyway, Anyway, I'm just saying, like, not that like reversals are like bad, like cards or whatever, but it is like, let's just start working through it. And like I said, I do feel that, and even the Libras that I know, like in my life, I just kind of feel like have had a couple rough years and just really almost even like having a hard time finding or reestablishing balance. Because when we think Libra, we think the scales, right? And it's just like things have just been, too far one way or too far the other way. And it's like struggling to figure out how to balance those things. So we start with the Ace of Pentacles in the recent past. And Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time and our physical energy. Where are we investing our time and our energy? We generally use our time and energy in exchange for monetary, compensation. It's our physical health and our body. Literally, I mean, anything tangible, anything that we can touch, anything that we place worth and value on. And in this Ace of Pentacles, there's this hand coming out from the past on the left side from this cloud here. There's a hand coming out of the right side of the card, which is the future. This could be two versions of yourself, like your childhood, your 20s, whatever, like a prior version of yourself. It could be your higher self. It could be, God, source, divine, the universe. But like I said, like in this card specifically, it's like, it's just the imagery with, and like I said, the left side of the card is the past, the right side of the card is the future. It's like there's something that past you and either current or future you is trying to like grasp onto. Maybe this is also even like grounding, a practical application of something, because it's earth. Even like I was talking about before, about like finding an equilibrium, finding a balance with your money, with your time and your energy, with your health and your body as well. Right? Like really kind of focusing on aligning those things, past you, future you as well. But both hands are on this pentacle here. So it's like, it's literally in your grasp. And maybe it's like a matter of just not knowing what to do with it. Fertility, creativity, wealth, perfection, happiness, contentment, comfort, joy, ecstasy, financial rewards, gold, money, treasure, reward, prosperity, income. It's an ace as well. So it's something new. There's even this archway here with this path, mountains in the background. Mountains typically in tarot represent a journey, fortitude. I feel like, fortitude, courage in pain and adversity. There was another reading where the word fortitude came up and I'm like, what does that even mean? But I didn't have my laptop in front of me to be able to like Google it. So I'm kind of glad that it came back around. That would be hilarious if it came up in a Libra reading before, but I don't remember. I just remember writing it down. Actually, speaking of writing down, I've been trying to get better at titles. I'm going to write down finding equilibrium for now, and hopefully we'll see. Courage in pain or adversity. She endured her illness with great fortitude is the use it in a sentence on Google. So, again, there is this effort, practical effort being made, or even just in your awareness of what happened in the past, what is going on in the current or the future, and almost even like figuring out a way to exist in that. We have the Knight of Cups in the reverse in the present energy, and cups have to do with our emotions, intuition, love. What is our relationship to love with ourselves, with other people? How do we give it? But more importantly, how do we receive it? Because I think a lot more people are better or find it easier to give support, to give love, to give comfort than they are at receiving it from other people. Vulnerability, compassion, empathy. And the Knight of Cups is usually the knight in shining armor. Like they're the ones that like kind of come in to save the day. Like they're offering their cup. So there's generally like an offer of love, leading with their heart as well. And with it being in the reverse, it's either, well, not that it has to be one or the other, but It could be the opposite meaning of the upright. So, not following your heart, just, kind of a imbalance of emotions, maybe too, an avoidance of your emotions, just avoiding how you're feeling, the whole toxic positivity thing, like even just not sharing with people how you are actually feeling. And maybe that's because you don't want to be a burden, or two, you don't want to accept help from somebody else. You don't want to release the pent up emotion, or even identifying with specific emotions, which honestly, I'm like, that there's nothing necessarily wrong with like choosing to be in an apathetic mood for a while, or really, kind of getting stuck, or like, I don't know, like, it is a choice though, right? And we choose to be, God, I hate fucking saying that actually, because I'm like, I'm thinking about myself, and sometimes, I have gnarly fucking mood swings, and I really do feel like helpless to them. And then I do start kind of beating myself up because I'm like, I'm choosing to be in this mood. And, there's plenty of people that I know or whatever that are like, you can just choose to be in a different mood. And I'm like, no, I can't. Like I literally feel like I cannot choose. And by trying to do that, it almost puts me in a fucking worse mood, because now I'm like beating myself up for not being able to choose differently, or not being able to like shift my energy. So I'm scratch that shit that I just like said. But like what I was really like feeling though is that there is a lot to be discovered in apathy, or moodiness, or just depression, to explain it. Like, I'm not saying that you're necessarily depressed. Like, I know I don't identify with like the word depression, but to describe a feeling, or like even just a wave that's passing through, I think that's a good like description for the feeling. Helplessness, hopelessness, the absence of like feeling good. I think there is like a lot to be discovered there, because why do you feel that way? Like, what are the thoughts, what are the feelings, what are the emotions that are moving through your body? Being aware of those things, even journaling them, writing them down. I'm not using a computer, type it out if you don't want to, write. Because then too, you can just delete it if you, like once you kind of just get it all out of your head, out of your like emotional body. Have a good fucking cry about it. The problem, though, for myself too, stems from identifying with those emotions and taking them on as either like your responsibility, or beating yourself up, or again, like getting stuck in a past experience and using that to like judge yourself in the current or the future. Using that to limit yourself in what you can experience as far as emotions go. Like, this thing happened, I feel like a terrible person. That means I can never be happy, or I can never be content. No, Abso-fucking-lutely not. That's what I mean by like there's a lot of information to be found in that depression or that those thoughts, those feelings. And let me also just say it again. That is not true. Just because A happened and you're at B now does not mean that you don't deserve C, or you don't deserve, to feel better or to be happy or to take care of yourself or to feel the way that you're feeling, or even to be on that roller coaster. Like, I've really had to condition myself to, anytime I'm kind of like in that wave or in that tornado is kind of usually how it feels. I try to like imagine, I tell myself to make like a raft and float. And I literally also too, like just imagine floating down a river, and I'm not going to like get stuck in, like a little whirlpool on the side of, the river, the banks of the river, whatever the words are, like for that, like I'm not going to get stuck in a certain thought or a certain feeling. I'm not going to attach myself to that, especially when I'm literally in the pits of fucking hell, mentally and emotionally. I'm going to try my best to just let that energy pass through, observe the way that I'm feeling and the thoughts that are coming up, how I am kind of beating myself up, and like comforting myself as best as I can, and also asking questions. Is that true? Is that actually something that I believe? And if it is, why? Why do I believe that? And if it's not true, how can I release that belief? What is actually true? But again, like having to just like keep letting it go. Keep letting it go, keep letting it go, just keep floating down the river, because it's like, like I also know that at some point it'll change, and I'll come out of hell for however long they let me out, There's this big old bee on my screen door. Interesting. A bee totem represents community, hard work, and diligence. Nurturing, healing, and productivity. Also, what are you doing out in November? Interesting. So that could be a message for you. And then over here with the Queen of Wands and the Star card, in the reverse, also, it doesn't feel like you're going to be coming out of this cycle in the near future. Unfortunately, I'm just being honest. Because like there's something that is blocking your expression of your hopes, your dreams. There's almost like an insecurity with possibility too. Like, again, apathy. It's, like having a hard time imagining life being any different. Depression, but also, reversals, like I said, it could be, I've been trying my best to stop saying, like I said, because I actually have no clue if I actually even said that. Reversals it can, of course, be the opposite meaning of the upright, but it can also just be an internal process versus an external expression. So even this Knight of Cups, like you could be really trying, like inside in your brain and your emotional body, like really trying to figure out like what it is that you need in order to take care of yourself. Like even trying to find that equilibrium of, like start learning how to like fill your own cup again, learning to reconnect to your heart, recognizing that you are disconnected from your heart. Feeling that truly, like recognizing that. And that is the thing that is making you feel out of whack. And then over here in the near future, even it could even just be like rebuilding your confidence, reestablishing like what your hopes and dreams are. If like circumstances in your life have drastically changed, and like your hopes and dreams were one thing at one point, but now it's recognizing like where you're at now and reevaluating. It could be that. It could also, again, like I said, just insecurity, low confidence, even just not expressing yourself, having no drive, having no motivation, even just a lack of hope, a lack of faith. The star card is Aquarius. And like I said, Pluto is in Aquarius now. So even if you have a Scorpio Pluto, like an early degree Scorpio Pluto, so that would be like being born between like 1984 and like 85 or something. Let me see. Hang on. I'm like, let me see where Pluto would have been 3 degrees in 1985. So where's Pluto now? Let's see. Come on. Pluto is at 1 degrees. 1 degree Aquarius. It's a slow moving planet, right? I mean, it takes 20 years to get through a sign. So, again, like I said, like if you have an early degree Pluto, 1984 to like 1985, 86, you're going to be feeling that tension. Okay, let me get this chart off my thing because it's actually an ex-boyfriend. Okay. So yeah, I'm only really bringing that up because like we were talking about Pluto in Aquarius. And of course, I mean, it would depend on where Libra is for you. So, and then where, of course, Aquarius then would be in relation. Oh, does that mean, so if like you're Libra rising, I think that means that Aquarius is your 4th house of home, private life, roots, which is interesting. Was I talking about? No, I don't think it was in your reading. Sorry. I'm like getting like mixed up, but let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. And of course, if you haven't done so already, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to the channel. I know I'm not like necessarily providing like really good news here, but like it's true, it's honest. It's the energy of the cards. But anyway, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. It helps, YouTube kick these videos out so that other people can see them. And it's an energy exchange. It's a free way to support me and the channel. It also notifies you when readings are put out. And I would love it too if you liked the video, dropped a comment. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me if this resonates or if I'm like absolutely fucking off base. Save it and then unsave it. I think that counts. So we have the 6 of Cups. We have the Star card. Again, love. We got to put a shirt on her. And then the 4 of Wands. You're going to figure this out. You are going to figure this out. I honestly do, like after seeing these cards, like I do feel that it really is convincing yourself internally that you are still you. You still deserve equilibrium. Like you still, you do have fortitude. You have made it through really tough fucking shit. And you're worthy of receiving. You're worthy of balancing yourself out. Interesting over here, because the Six of Cups is the card of the past. It's literally about nostalgia. Ruminating too. So just be cautious, or be aware of where you are ruminating and what you're ruminating on. The same story, like if it's the same story that just it's on a loop, interrupt that loop. This is also like a card of acts of kindness. I mean, these little kids are like putting flowers in these cups, right? So again, like I really feel that this internal process, it's literally like redecorating your inner landscape, truly. Using your emotions to help grow or blossom something. Like stop denying yourself joy and happiness, opportunity. You could have to grieve something. Allow yourself to grieve. Do not get stuck in grief. It's easy to do. And like I said, none of this shit is wrong wherever you are, right? Apathy isn't necessarily wrong. Grief isn't necessarily wrong. What's quote unquote wrong is forcing yourself to stay there because you feel like you deserve it, or you think that by moving through the grief that you are going to forget or release something that you don't want to release, or that you are going to somehow be disconnected from whatever it is that you are grieving. Like, let's say if it was a person that you're grieving, right? Whether it was a relationship that ended, or it was a life. And it's like you have this belief that if you allow yourself to grieve, if you go through the grieving process to the point of acceptance, then you are releasing that person. That's not true. Like they're always going to be in your heart. And I know this for sure, that they would not want you to continue to choose to suffer over them. Because like these cups, I'm assuming in my head, in my fantasy, there's water in there. And that's why they're putting flowers in there. So again, right, water having to do with our emotions, love, intuition, empathy. It's also even too like remembering that you have the capacity to love so deeply, honoring that love, but also recognize if the depth of that is causing harm to you by not releasing something. The Star card here, I fucking love. Do you know what is so cool about like the readings that I've done through, with this setup, is that anytime there is there's a card that is in the reverse, I swear in every single reading, that card has shown up upright at the bottom of the deck. Somewhere. Which is just so, like, the odds of that even happening, greater than, probably winning the lottery. Like, it's just, and especially from different decks, too. This is like, the Star card in this deck, and then the Star card in this deck over here. I don't know. I just think this is why I love tarot, because shit like this happens. But again, like the Star card, I don't even think I've really like actually described it, but it is like hopes and dreams, faith, trusting the process, trusting yourself. And to me, this feels like reestablishing that. And this is a current energy too, right? So this is making a conscious effort, a conscious intention to reestablish trust with yourself, to reconnect with your heart. Allow your heart to heal. Recognize that nothing is going to be lost, forgotten, left behind by you allowing your heart to heal. It's what is going to happen is feeling that empathy again, feeling even, excitement for the future. Like it's like a shift in your outlook, recognizing your hopes, your dreams, right? Like there's the bee again. It's not inside that. No, okay. It kind of, for a second, it looked like it was like inside the house, but I'm like, no, because I would have heard it. Also, how would have gotten in here? Interesting. And then we have the Four of Wands, which is a card of celebration, community, unity. Interesting. In this card, they are moving towards the left, which is the future. In the before tarot, they're moving towards the left. It's like, because this card is sometimes like depicted as like the marriage card. So it's almost kind of like, I'm not sure if I haven't actually read the book on either one, the before or the after. So I don't know if the idea is that they're like pulling up to be married. New beginnings built on strong foundations, bro. A wedding arbor stands in the foreground, and behind it, just outside the walls of the castle fortress, a young groom is driving an ox cart that's been decorated with garlands and flowers. The bride is holding bouquets, and she's waving them in the air, followed by a parade of well-wishers. While their guests celebrate, the newlywed couple is heading toward a new life together. Their wagon is decorated with garlands of flowers. They remind us of generations of settlers leaving for parts unknown, driving rustic wagons loaded with their worldly belongings. I mean, of course, this could have to do with relationships. Libra is like the sign of relationships, right? But I mean, that could be, of course, a platonic relationship. That could be a romantic relationship. It could be a business partnership, right? Like whatever it is for you. This is saying that is possible. Not only that, but this is like the moments after. So they've been married now here, right? The before tarot is them, like going to the church. The present tarot is like them standing under the garland in union. And then of course the after tarot is them, riding off into the sunset. So with this being in the future, like this is possible, feeling a sense of security. Because also, the Four of Wands have to do with the actions that we take, the motivation behind the actions that we take. It's fire, right? So it's like, it's feeling that motivation to take action towards something, having a fire within you or up under your ass. It's trying things. It's putting yourself out there, knowing that you deserve it, And by the time we get to the Four of Wands, with these four wands here, it talks about having a firm foundation, a sense of security. It's a card of celebration too, and community, like having people around you that support you and do cheer you on. So yeah, you're going to figure this out. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You've got to get your inner palace, like you've got to get your inner your heart, like reconnect to your heart. The only way out is in, right? And you're in it, but you've also got to get yourself out of it. You can't just be, you can just be stuck in it, but I don't think you want to be. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.